want some sauce?
Scene 1, Apple, take 1.
So 2 cups of heavy cream. Okay. And this, of course, is only because this is the size of what my ice cream maker can actually handle. This is, I'm going to put about 3/4 of a cup, of whole milk in this as well. I don't want this to be overly sweet, so I'm going to be putting about 3/4 of a cup of granulated sugar. This is a little bit of sea salt. That's probably more than enough. Now, if you're going to be making regular ice cream, you can kind of stop here, but I'm going to end up putting some egg yolks in here. The big difference between regular ice cream and French ice cream is they ultimately are making a custard, right? And this is actually very similar to how you would end up making a base for a creme brulee, by the way. Similar. For the amount that I'm making here, I would end up saying 4 or 5 egg yolks is probably going to end up being enough. The more that you add, the creamier it's going to end up being, the more of like a custard it's going to end up being. Now, while this is still warming up, because I have this on a medium low, it's a pretty low flame, but while it's heating up, I want to whisk this, and I want this to be well incorporated. Some of this is not going to become incorporated very well, and we're going to get small little pieces of cooked egg in here, and that's normal and it's okay. You know, I mean, if you wanted to, you could put all the stuff in a blender first, you know, mix it up real well first, then pour it in here, and it'll decrease the amount of egg, but it's kind of just an extra thing you'll have to clean for no reason. Having a little bit of cooked egg is okay because we are going to be straining it. Now what we want to do is we want to heat this until it starts to thicken, okay? We don't want this to boil, okay? We want this to just get hot and we want it to start thickening. So at this point, we need to add our extract. Now if you want to, you can take a vanilla bean, cut it down the middle, scrape out the inside, throw it inside here, including the vanilla bean, and you're going to end up having French vanilla ice cream. And remember, as far as the sugar goes, if you want it to be sweeter, you can always add more. If you want it to be less sweet, you can add less. How do you know if it's sweet enough? Put a little spoon in here, taste it. It'll tell you if you need to add more sugar or not. I'm making chocolate mint ice cream today, so I'm going to end up using peppermint extract. You can use mint, you can use spearmint, you can use peppermint. But peppermint is more really what most people are familiar with when it comes to the chocolate mint. Chocolate mint ice cream is my wife's and my favorite. Now, here is a small cap. I'm going to be putting 2 of these in here for this particular size of, for this amount. How do I know that that's minty enough? How do I know it's sweet enough? Just like I said, you can just dip a spoon inside here and taste it. That's pretty good. I'm going to add a little bit more mint to it. I'm going to add another capful. No matter how tempted you are to do it, do not put toothpaste in here. Now the next thing that I'm going to be doing is personal preference. You can leave it just like this and just let it cook until it thickens, and that's fine. But I find, and plus it's a little nostalgic, if I put a little bit of green food coloring in this, it helps because there is a psychological aspect to this. You see that it's green, you associate it with mint, and for some reason it tastes more minty. Okay, this is starting to thicken. I can tell because I'm starting to feel a little resistance with the whisk. And I don't, like I said, I don't really want this to become, I don't want this to boil. I just want to kind of cook the egg, dissolve the sugar, and then as soon as I know that it has reached the point that it needs to be, this goes into the ice cream maker. You can put this in the refrigerator and let it cool off first. That'll help a little bit, but I have an ice cream maker that I don't have to worry about that. You know, it's essentially doing the same thing except a little bit faster. But we're almost there. I think that we're there for this particular ice cream. I think we're there. Okay, so I'm going to kind of turn this a little bit. Let me make sure it's not boiling or anything like that during the time that I turn it off. I mean, let me give it a couple more stirs. And now we need to strain this into our container. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to strain this. And don't freak out if you see a little bit of egg inside here, because that's the whole reason why we strain it. Now, you don't want to fill your container completely up, because what's going to end up happening is it's going to incorporate air into this during the time that it is creating the ice cream, and you got to be careful with that, because if not, it'll overflow. And there we go. That is good enough, and now we can put it in the ice cream maker. And we turn this guy all the way on. Now, I'm not completely sure if the camera had picked up what I had done. I could have sworn I had said play, you know, record, but I don't know if it did. What I did is I used a grater, and I just took some bittersweet chocolate, where it's 85% cocoa, and I just started grinding it up into small pieces like this. And for the amount of ice cream that we're making, this is probably a good amount. If you want to, yeah, you can use Hershey. You could use a milk chocolate. One thing that might help you is if you put your chocolate in the refrigerator to harden it up. This is Hershey's right here. This is just a regular Hershey bar, okay? But if I take this, it'll grate a lot easier, because it's refrigerated, right? If it was room temperature, it'd want to melt in my hands. That's the difference between in color from milk chocolate and 85% cocoa. So now what we're going to do is, as soon as the ice cream gets to about 85% done, almost it's a soft serve stage. That's when we pour this in. We don't want to do it during the time that it is warm. We don't want to do it when it's real thin, because the heavy pieces are going to sink to the bottom. We want to do it when it's got a little bit of consistency to it. And so we're going to wait until it's about 80%. If you want to add something other than this, let's say you've got vanilla in there, you got lemon or something, and you want to add coconut pieces, you can, but you've got to know when to put it in. You put it in too early, it's going to sink to the bottom, right? Also, if you put it in too early and it's a liquid, it's just going to end up turning your ice cream that color, and it's just going to end up kind of dissolving in it, right? So if you're going to try to put like jam or something in there, yeah, you got to wait. You got to fold it in pretty much on the last couple of minutes, okay? That's what we're looking for. If you wait too long, it ain't going to mix, right? Because it's going to be too frozen. So you got to get it around the 85, yeah, right. I would say between 80 and 90% done. That's when you want to throw it in there. So let's go ahead and let the ice cream maker do its job. Okay, now do you see how the ice cream is kind of thickening up? It's getting a little bit more stiff. We want it to be just a little bit more than this, and then that's when we're going to start putting our chocolate chips in. And with the chips in now, what's going to happen is it's going to keep stirring, and it's going to slowly kick them down to the bottom, and it'll end up kind of incorporating it a little bit better. If you wait too long, they're going to stay on top. If you do it too early, they're going to go straight to the bottom, and we want these to be well incorporated. As soon as my ice cream maker is doing this and it's making that noise, it tells me that it's thick. The motor doesn't have enough power to keep doing it, so it's just changing positions back and forth. So now I got to quickly transfer this into a container that I can throw into the freezer. Stirrer is not an easy task. We got to try to get this stuff out of here as fast as possible, because it's going to end up wanting to liquefy pretty quick. Because at this point right now, it's like a soft serve. And when something is a soft serve like this, it'll want to liquefy pretty quick. Okay, that needs to go into the freezer ASAP. Okay, freezer.
Oh, this is so good. This is perfect to cool down the little heat from the pasta, you know. Oh my god, this is good, man. This is the way I like my chocolate mint ice cream, where you can see the chips, like every You know what I mean? I don't like it when it's just,
Like big chunks of
yeah,
chips?
just one chip here, one chip there. I like it chunks plus the, what do you call it, shredded.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, that's good. I know, this is my favorite ice cream of all time, ever since I was a child.
Anyway, guys, that's that. That's how I go about making my Chuggaman ice cream. So until next time, I will talk at you later.